Hi guys. Today we're going to take some of the papers, the book pages, or whatever papers you want to use that we folded to make envelope shapes, and we're going to decorate them with papers that we're going to cover the front and then maybe some journaling area on the back. I'm starting with this one from the Time Life book of, let's see, this was Flowering House Plants, this particular one. And I pulled just a random selection. My page itself informed what colors I pulled. I pulled a little bit of blue, some security envelope, and I thought I could bring that blue out with that. But I also got a bunch of neutrals, and I've got some Oriental text and graph paper and dots, and of course music paper, and some craft paper, and another security envelope, and then just a little bit of some more book page as well. And we'll see what else we're going to need along the way, but I thought that would be a good start to get us going. So if you haven't, go ahead and pause now, grab all of your envelope pages and your paper scraps, and let's get started using up our stash. Okay, so typically I try to find big pieces to begin with to cover as much area as possible. I always have to make sure the music's going in the right direction. It's just me, but it doesn't matter. You can do it however you want. And I probably am going to leave some of this blue showing just because, I mean, that's what the attractive thing. I always have a hard time covering the whole page because that's the reason why I chose it, was because I really liked it. So it's like a balancing act for me all the time as to how much is too much and how little is too little. So let's just see what we can get started with. I'm going to put some music on here. I want some of this text to show, but it's not as important really. Just a little bit there to get the idea across that there is a book page underneath. I'm just using ivory glue stick. I do use the purple ones. I really enjoy seeing where I've put the glue and where I haven't, just to make sure I've got enough on there. I just use an old book, paperback typically, to glue onto, and then the pages, once they're all gluey, they can be used for all sorts of different projects that we will be doing down the road. I was so glad to be able to have time today to work on these. I've been really wanting to build up my collection of these for my next round of journals I'm going to be making soon. And I typically use either a cloth, or this happens to be an old sock. Sorry if I'm shaking. Yeah, I'm shaking a little bit there. That helps hold it down, get it, and keeps my hands from getting too gluey. Now, let's see, maybe a little bit of, oh yeah, I like that. I think I'll bring in a little bit of that right there. You can be as precise or random as you want with all this. Each one's going to make an interesting look. There we go. I'll do that. Okay. Now, do I want to put, yeah, I think I'll put a little bit of this blue in here somewhere. Let's see, that I'm going to save for some of the journaling area, and this as well. I think those are going to be really good. And that. So if I were to take some of this, or, oh, you know, maybe down there. I don't want to split the thing right in the middle, but that's over to the left, so I don't think it'll look too stuck in the middle. Don't want that. Here, maybe I'll just... I hate that I'm covering up all that blue. Maybe I'll bring it over that way some. That's the hardest part for me. All right, let's just do it there. Let's put a little bit of that right there. I always try to put, if there's any straight edges, I put them along straight edges. I don't really like straight edges in the center unless I'm going for more of a very graphic linear design, then it's fine. But other than that, I really enjoy the look of tearing all of my pages. Okay, I was saying I was going to put some blue over here. I also, there's kind of a generally known rule in art where you try to have a triangle in one way or another, and it could go anywhere. It could, you know, you could put the triangle and that's still, I mean, you could put it close like that, or you could put it down there. You know, there's a lot of different places that you can put it. And I always like working in odd numbers as well. Typically 3, but a lot of times 5 or 7 works too. There are times, of course, when, you know, you might just have one focal point and one works, but I always work in odd numbers if I can help it. And I find even like my amount of these papers that I put down will end up being an odd number. It's just, for some reason, if I say I have, oh, like right now I've got 4, okay? I look at that and go, you know, it just doesn't look quite right. It needs something else. And I'll realize, oh, that's why. Because it's 4 and it needs to be 5 or whatever. It's just something I've observed, and you know, I'm sure there are perfectly beautiful examples where, you know, once you know the rules, you can kind of break the rules. But I tend to stick with kind of what I know, and it works for me. So I think I want to put that blue kind of in that type of a triangle. And let's see, how do I want to, I think I'm going to kind of run it there. I like the randomness of just tearing the paper and seeing how it turns out. It's fun that way. People who are wanting everything to be perfect and try to be in control of everything, like me, it's freeing to just kind of rip the paper and use it the way it is. It really does feel good to give up control of it, even if it's just one little thing in life. Okay, so I've got my triangle of blue. I've got, I mean, technically there are 5 things on here, but it's not 5 neutral things, so you know, it could go either way. I mean, you don't have to get dogmatic about this. Believe me, you don't want to, or it'll suck all the joy out of doing art. And I really don't know. At this point, I think I'm leaving it just the way it is until we go on to our next step, which will be focal image. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over. Now we got the flap to consider, and I do try to bring something from the front onto at least the flap, if not the flap and the back as well, just so there's some continuity. And when you're looking at it, if you decide you want to leave it open in your journal as a page spread, then you know that, I mean, that whether or not you'll see it, it's one of those things. But I don't know, I like the continuity of that. Now I have to pick out some washi, and let's see, I've got a really nice blue graphic there that would look really good with that. Some of that might work because it does have a little bit of green in it as well. It doesn't have that dynamic blue in it, but yeah, I don't know. That one might be okay, but I think I'm going to go with this one. So now I did pick out some fabric ahead of time that I thought would look really good with this. I didn't want to have to go sorting through all of my stash of fabric scraps. Oh my. Yeah, we need to do a lot of things that use up fabric scraps as well as paper scraps. Now, I'm probably going to put that like right on the edge, and I will be sewing this on, but you don't have to. Don't feel like, if you don't like to sew or don't have a machine, you don't need to do it to have it. In fact, Fabri-Tac would work perfectly well there. In fact, Rachel, Roxy Creations, she uses her glue stick. She must have a tremendously good glue stick, but I don't think any of her stuff has ever come up. So don't worry about not sewing it. I just like the look of sewing, and I figure, you know, I've got that beautiful quilting machine that I never use for quilting anymore. I might as well use it for something. So I am going to pretty much leave that like that. I think what I'm... Okay, when my camera cut out must have been when I was talking about putting down this piece of washi tape, and I just wanted to cover a little bit of that white area. And then I had chosen another piece of the security envelope that I was going to put over on this corner here. So let's see, how was I going to put that? Maybe it was going to be like that. So I think now we're caught up. I'll go ahead and glue this down. We'll continue. I don't know, my phone cuts out after 10 minutes. That's what it gives me, 10 minutes, period. So if I'm not right on top of it, it goes out before I have a chance to pause or do something. Stop in the middle of my sentence, whatever. Okay, so then I will be taking this, I'm not sure, I'll probably do it like that because it's more flared that way. All right, so then I'm going to go and take and sew that on, but I can do that off camera because I'm not going to be able to bring my machine over here. All right, so now we're going to work on this area. Let me get up here where you can see. We're going to work on this area, and I want to put some really good area for journaling on here. So, and you know, this one, I mean, you could choose to leave the image here if you wanted to, and actually you could go with a totally different color scheme if you wanted to on this one. I didn't necessarily care to keep it, and this is upside down, so I'm not really big on upside down text either. So I'm going to probably cover the whole back, really. So I'm going to start with this, and I want a nice big chunk of that. And I'll just take it about a little over half. And, you know, you can leave a little bit so you can tell that there's a book page, whatever. So I think I'm going to put it like that. Lots of glue. Don't want anything pulling up. Now another way to do it, which is perfectly fine, would be to just glue in the center, and then you could actually take and stitch around all of the pieces if you wanted to make kind of a quilted effect. I usually don't have that much time or patience, especially time. Yeah. I have a million ideas. Okay, so I got that piece on there, and then I want to bring in some of this craft paper. I do not want a straight edge, so let's see, let me tear off just enough. I probably wasn't in camera. Let me get up here. Oh, that's what it is. My phone moved, and I had to figure out where on earth it cut out on me. There, that's better. I'm sorry if that was out of frame, guys. Okay. Continuing on, tearing the edge of my paper. And I think I'll do it like that. I try to get it to the edge. If you go over, you just trim it off. It's no big deal. Oh, there's my sock. And then I want to take, let's see, I've got this book page. Now that little bit's going to be upside down. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think it'll be fine. I mean, basically, when you write on there, you're going to be one way or another writing, and you'll be covering that over anyhow. So, let's stick that. In fact, I could do it the other side and not use it at all. I kind of like having it refer to the book page that it was, though, so. Well, now, that's a thought. I think what I'll do, this is old book text, so I kind of hate taking off the edges because it takes off that natural aging that's already on there, but that's okay. Even though that was torn out of the book, it still was a little too straight. Okay, and underneath, I'm going to add a little bit of that. So basically, I'm going to have that kind of... Do I want it like that? I just like contrast, and so that brought in some contrast. But, you know, I don't really care for the gray on that side for some reason. What about some dots? Yeah, I think I like the dots better. And yep, I'll do it just like that. Okay, now, if I put that piece there, I think I'll bring that back to about there. Okay. Bring that up right to the edge. And I can always cut off that little straggly bit that's on top. Okay. I didn't plug my mic back in. Hopefully the sound quality hasn't gone down on this segment of it. I'll try and remember for the next 10 minutes. I'm technologically challenged half the time, I think. Gotta remember, I grew up with black and white TV. All right. Clean this up a little bit and see what it looks like. See if we want to do anything more to this. And, okay, with the flap, and then we're going to be sewing this on. I was saying something about bringing a little bit of the blue in to tie it together. Yeah, you know, I'll bet. Oh, no, let's see. How about... just bring a little chunk of it. Yeah, I guess. It's one of those things. I could kind of take it or leave it, but It's blue. I'm going to add it. Now, I was noticing when I was looking at the first segment, when I was forced into looking at the first segment before I finished the second segment, that this on camera is looking really purple, and you know, it's blue. It's really, really blue. So I don't know, unfortunately, hopefully your monitor's picking it up correctly, but these are all the same value and shade of blue, so I don't know where it went wrong, but this side so far, looking through the camera, looks like they're all the same blues, so that's good. Okay, so I used that, and I got some of that, and I've used those. So really, that's pretty complete. That's your good area there for journaling. I mean, I wouldn't mind doing some more right there, but I don't know. I don't see it. I'm going to leave it like that for now. You can always do more to it later. And if, you know, you get to this point and you look at it and go, you know, I hate it, you can always cover it with another layer. That's what's really nice about this, is it's very flexible. It's very forgiving. So I am going to set this one aside with this that I'll be sewing on off camera. And then let's move on to our next thing. Let me tidy up some of this before I end up with so much mess on here that I won't be able to find what I'm working on. Putting that on the floor. Well, the kittens didn't wake up for that, so hopefully they're sleeping. They're still sleeping. It's a good thing when kittens are sleeping. They're so high energy. I love them, but there are times when you just don't need them in your business. And working with paper scraps is definitely one of those times. Okay, they've helped me rearrange the art room. So now I had shown one of these that I'd started decorating beforehand. It's an index from an atlas, and I had put some washi on there. And again, I picked out some papers that I thought would go well with the pink and the gold, and kind of a coppery look to it. I think it comes from having the pink and the gold together. These are just a couple of scraps. They're kind of stuck onto the sticky areas there. I haven't glued them down yet, but I've got some graph paper, and I wanted to show you this. Before I was using some examples of some graphic images that I was able to get off of printablepaper.net, and they have all of these on here. You can get grids of varying sizes, from larger, even way bigger than this, down to really small, and you can get dotted papers as well. And then I just happened to print this out on some drawing paper, some manila drawing paper. So that's a fun idea for augmenting printables by using all of these graphic images. So I have got that and some painty paper that's got some great metallic paint on it. And I pulled some scrapbook papers that were of those same tones. And I got this piece of, it's kind of an old gold brocade fabric that I'm going to use for the edge of that envelope. And then these were, they were journaling cards in a pad that I'd gotten a few years ago from Hobby Lobby, but I'm pretty sure it's like one of their basics, the recollections or whatever, that they have it all the time, even still have it now. But anyway, they're stickers. Let me see. Don't make a liar out of me. Okay, there we go. So I thought those would be fun to work with too. They're still thick even as a sticker, but I think they'll work fine for this. Probably won't be using them in really big chunks. So anyway, I guess I've kind of semi-made a commitment to putting these there. I'm not real sure. I mean, they look fine. I guess I'll do that. Anyway, let's start with the front and see what we want to do with this. Now, basically, I've already got an awful lot going on here just with what I've put with the washies. And those were from, let's see, Bella's Bits and Buys and Washi Wednesday. And So now it's just mainly filling in the blanks. Now, as far as this goes, this is too thick to put on this fold that I've got right there for the flap. So I might put that somewhere down there. That looks pretty good, actually. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tear this with the backing on it and take off. And let's go about there. Now, I just tore it probably the reverse way from when I should have done it. Now I got all that white. Well, you know what? That might be an opportune time to bring out, what color do I, you know what? I have a feeling antique linen's going to probably work better with this color scheme than vintage photo, although vintage photo goes with everything, really. It's vintage photo. It's a staple. Oops. Pardon me. Yeah, that brings the tone way down. That's good. I'll keep that handy. I'll probably be using it some more. Yeah, see, I think that's going to look good there. Let's give it a try. Let's find out. This would definitely be good if you wanted to make something a little more sturdy, because it definitely has the thickness of a cardstock. That's strong adhesive. There was no pulling that back up. Be sure if you use one of those, you know where you want to put it, because there's no going back. It only went over a little bit, but I clean that up now while I'm at it. Be very careful when you're doing this. When you're on the fold, that you don't go through. Your envelope might end up with a little bit of ventilation that you don't want. All right, so now, that one seemed like it was okay. I'll set that aside. Let's see what else I've got to play with here. I know I'm kind of staying with symmetrical, but you know, it's kind of working too, though. I kind of like it. Because I could either put it there, or I could put a chunk of it right there, but that might make it too heavy with the pink on the one side. Let's see, then we also got these fun things to play with. Now that is it's a thick paper. It was from a paper pad, and I'm sorry, I can't remember which one. But sometimes it's really easy to pull, kind of delaminate the paper. There we go. It's working. That's what you do with paper that's a little too thick for your purposes. And, you know, a lot of times if you get a nice chunk like that, and it's the perfect thickness for stamping on that, and then using that too. So I do tend to, when they're a nice chunk like that, I do tend to hang on to them and stamp on it. In fact, we might do that on one of these. All right, get that mess off. Although I should have probably torn it, but I'm kind of going, I don't know. I do have some lines on this one. Probably could go for a more linear look on this one and be okay. All right. That kind of looks good, and then it'll bring it onto here. So when it's folded, you'll get to see that little bit peeking through. Kind of like it. I'm going to go with that, I think. I can sometimes get really bogged down in overthinking, so sometimes I try to catch myself when I realize, okay, I've looked at 5 things. One of those, in fact, probably all 5 would have been perfect. And so I'm trying to stop myself after just a couple. There's always perfect out there, however. Do you really want to invest the time to find perfect? All right. Yeah, I don't know. I probably should have tore that. I'll probably do something to soften up the edges there. We'll see. Actually, I'm just going to fold that on down, bring it all the way. I may have to wait for that to dry. It's trying to buckle on the fold. Let's see what we can do here. Now, we have some of that could go in there. Possibly. Looks kind of nice. And then we also have this area up here. And then we also had this piece, but then, wait, there's more. This beautiful piece. It's like, I definitely need to bring some of this here. Ooh, I like that. It plays off that and refers to that. So that is going to go there. And I think what I'm going to do is bring it up about there. That I don't mind. I haven't seen the torn side because it's the craft paper, so it looks good. Let's see, how much of that was I going to use? About there. I try not to, if I can help it, try not to make lines all, you know, like putting it there, it draws your eye to that big line there, whereas there, your eye kind of moves all around. And I also didn't want to drop it down because then it would continue that line as well. So I was trying for something somewhere in between the two. All right, so basically, I don't want to tear that there. You know, I might want to do it. Yeah, that's even better yet. I'll do it that way. All right, so I just need to finish tearing this up off the edge. Okay. It's about time to start making some painty papers again too. Yes, I want to use up the stash that I have. However, they're so fun to make because, you know, the sky's the limit. You can put together all combinations of colors. It's just unbelievable. In fact, I've got a really cool idea that's been percolating in my brain, and it'll follow along with the Use Your Stash series. So, you know, I'll be able to incorporate it, I think, because I'll be using stuff that, you know, pretty much everything in this room is stash, let's face it. So I think, I don't know, should I tell you about it now or should I wait and have it be a surprise? It's going to be fun. I really think it's going to be fun. It's going to be a challenge, but that's a good thing. I'm always up for a challenge. I think I'm going to do that there. Let me see. First things first, though. I gotta make a ripped edge along the one side. I'm only going to be using it probably to there, so yeah. That's about all I need. Actually, I should probably use a ruler. My tearing ruler is somewhere else, but this one works fine too because it's a metal ruler. I want it to be basically a straight edge since I'm going to be putting it along a straight edge. I'm going to go ahead and ink up the edges of this piece. Okay. Now, let's see how I want to bring that. Bringing it all the way down. Kind of like that. Okay. All right. Now for the other side, we've started on the flap, so far we've got a little bit there, and then this is going to be going along like that. So we could bring some more of the painty paper, possibly. Now, one thing, I've got this paper for journaling, so we could definitely put a hunk of that here. I'm wondering now, do I want to keep these things that I had there? And maybe I don't want them that big. I mean, journaling could happen there, but it'd be pretty difficult on there. I don't know, I might end up taking that off. Of course, something's gonna have to go on there. Maybe I'll just cut it down. This one, I was starting the washi tape. It was glued down on the one part, so it's got sticky there that I don't think is gonna go away. So I thought, well, if I put tissue over it, at least you can still kind of see the pattern through it. Again, I hate wasting things that I like the looks of. And if it's underneath layers and you can't see it, I guess I'm just supposed to know it's there. So let's see, maybe if I tear this, and then if I were to put that piece there, and then I'm going to have to come in with something else. Well, there's always craft paper. Not so much. And what else do we have? I don't think I have anything pink, but kind of a stone color. Nah, don't like that. Too gray. And then there's just some pieces. Oh yeah, here we go. Here we go. That'll work. This music paper is so old that it just crumbles. Well, I can put that there. So that's sticky. I don't know. Now I'm not so sure. I guess it's okay. I'm overthinking. See, whenever that happens, I should just stop and say, okay, it's going down, period. It's going down. So I'm just going to bring it all the way over so it covers the sticky. And it'll be fine. You guys struggle with that? Covering over the things that you've got, the layers underneath. I mean, I'm a lifelong collager. I love anything collage or patchwork, but that's always been my hang-up. Always. Oops, sorry about that. Ooh, there we go. Okay. I'm gonna stick that back on top now, maybe. It tore out of there somewhere, and I'm not sure how it, I guess it was like that. I don't know, doesn't really do anything for me. Okay, set that aside. Now I need a piece for over here. And we'll do it just like that, basically. Let's see, it's gonna be along that line. And Let's see, let me pull off these. Oh, ha! I need to finish gluing this down. That's right, it was just stuck on the sticky. I'll be sewing along the edge of that, so even if it doesn't totally cover with glue, it will be held down by the stitches. That patterned tissue down. All right, so now I'm going to glue that over to the other side. Make it a little thicker on the edge. Trim this off. You know, could even put a piece of that there. That might be a nice place to put a label when we're doing all our detailing. That could work. Could be. Would be a good spot for a label. So, and then I was going to be putting this on here. I think that'll do it then. Cool. And I kind of like the way it crosses over, refers to the other graph paper at the bottom. I got a little bit of the words peeking out, which is fun. There'll probably be a little there too once a label is put on there, depending on what size the label is put on. And then this will be going along there, and I think we'll call that one done. And let's see how we're doing for time. Well, we might be able to start another one. Let's just see. Let me move all this out of the way. We didn't end up using this one, but that's okay. There'll be another one. It'll get used at some point. Let's see. Oh, this was another one of those. This was a Monet book page. And I took it, there was a white edge on both sides of the page. Well, this one is going to get covered by fabric, so I'm not worried about that one. This one, I decided, you know, it was a good opportunity to fold it over and make a nice, clean, thicker edge along the top of the opening of the envelope. So the colors I have to work with here is a magenta and purple and various greens and yellows. So what I did is I pulled out primarily purple, because just that little bit in there, I thought this would really bring it out. And there's a piece of washi that I put on some green. And this is kind of a plum color. I don't know. Yeah, I guess it's showing up plum. And then I got some music paper and some lined paper and graph and some really thin craft paper. Very old book from I think it was English literature. Beautiful square doily that I got from Denise at A Tattered Dream. And then just some scrapbook paper that has a font on it. So let's see what we want to do to decorate. Now, the pieces that'll go on the journaling side will be these, and perhaps some of the doily as well. So I'm going to set those aside for right now. This could almost work for a focal point, but probably not. It'll probably be a collage of things together, either that or who knows, it may go on the journaling side. That might be a nice place to put it. I'll set that there for now. And then, of course, this will be the piece that's going to go along there, so you won't even know that white is there. Okay, so we'll set that aside as well. There's a little bit, some purple painty paper. I think that was from Jelly Plating. Okay, so starting with the front side, we've got all these fun things to play with. And let's see, maybe we'll take a strip of this. I should be tearing the other way. It's okay, we can ink it. All right, and maybe I'll bring that in. Sometimes I like to just place everything down and see how I might like it, what looks like a pleasing arrangement. I may not even use that at all. That, of all the greens that are in there, I don't think that sage green is one of them. Okay, well, oh, I know what I want to do. That'll be cool. I'm going to put some of that doily over top of the text. So just peeking out, so you're not trying to read it. Okay, so I think I'm going to go kind of in that direction. I'm going to take and put some of this extremely fragile book paper here. Ooh, see how fragile it is? It just fell off. And yeah, I think I'll go about there, a little bit past halfway there. Now, ooh, pardon me. Let's get that out of the way so I'm not knocking it. With really delicate old book pages or any other kind of paper that you might have, ephemera or whatever, you might want to consider putting your glue on your substrate rather than on the actual page itself, because it will crumble. And I know for a fact that this will. I've had that experience before. Now, do I want to put that over top of that or under that? I think I want to put it on top. So I'll go ahead and put this down first. I'm just going to kind of approximate where I think it's going to go. Lots of glue, because that's going to be the only thing holding this here. Certainly not the integrity of the paper. Oh, I think I put it the other way. That's okay. It's fine. It'll be fine. Okay. Now I'm going to take the music paper and bring it. I want to keep some of that purple out, because that'll help refer to the purple I'm going to be putting on there. So I think I'll bring it maybe about that far. That way some of the score is going to be included. Again, with the threes, I always try to keep that rule in mind all throughout the process, really. All right. This is, I mean, it tears really nicely. It's a very velvety paper. It's really beautiful. But it's still got enough integrity where I can feel confident putting glue on the actual piece of paper without it crumbling. And now I want to take just some of this along here, about like that, I guess. Boy, I hate losing all that beautiful turquoise, but it's okay. It's okay, because I'm not using it anywhere else, so actually it's probably a good idea. All right, so basically I want to do it like that, so I need to tear about here. And then I want it to come to there. Now this, at this point, there's two ways you can go with this. You could either just glue it on and cut it off, which is probably what I'm going to end up doing. You can cut it first, you know, because I could use that as a guideline and cut it. But then you run the problem of having to get that right up along the edge if that's what you're going for. And sometimes when you're gluing stuff down, that can be a little tricky. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the glue on here where I know it's going to be going. And then once I've glued it down, then I can cut off what's remaining. I mean, you can also glue the paper too. It's just you put the glue all over the whole thing and then you end up with a sticky piece of paper you got to put somewhere. And now just take off the excess. Okay, now I am going to put, ooh, that could be fun, or I could go like that. I think I'll probably put it on an angle. Since I'm using this really pretty square, I might as well use it to best advantage. That's kind of cool. Ooh, wait a minute. Do I like that better? Yeah, I do actually. I do like that better. All right, so I think I'm going to cut it. This one's going to be tricky to glue down. I don't know if you've ever glued down a doily before, but all the little holes, all the glue seeps through. I'm thinking I probably want to take it from there to there. In fact, I might use a different glue for this. Let me go ahead. Tombow Aqua Glue. It's got two sides. One has got a brush tip, that's a broad tip, and then the other's got just a little point. It's actually kind of fun to use. So I think putting it on like this might be a lot easier than trying to use a glue stick. And just get all the bigger parts. In fact, let me try going along these lines. That might work. Okay. All right, what do you think? Now, I need something else on here. Do I want to play up some of the purple? I could. What else did I have that was purple? Ooh, did it blow off? Did a cat jump up that I didn't see? Well, I thought I had something else that was purple. Let's see, do I have any purple washi? That could work. Well, this is more of a magenta, but I think it'll work. All right, so perhaps that's kind of pretty. Maybe if I just put just a little bit over here, it'll bring that purple to another area. I'll just use another little piece right here. Well, that didn't work. Okay. Ooh, I like that. Okay. And then that'll give me my 3 places of purple. And let's count. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yay! All right. Cool. That works. So we'll put that down. And then we'll be ready to go to the other side. Okay. I'm liking it. That's ready for its focal image. Okay, so in decorating the back, first of all, that will be the piece that will go along the edge. I have some little scraps that might get used, but primarily it's going to be, well, I guess I'll have to make the sacrifice and cover most of this if there's going to be journaling area. Now, you know, there is also the thought that not every envelope has to have journaling spots on it, really, you know, because you're going to be setting things inside as well. So, ooh, that's a good opportunity. In fact, I think that's exactly what I'm going to do. I can put some of these papers on the inside. I mean, you could obviously just write on the plane, but you know, why when you could add all the fun papers? So, do I want to have a couple of different ones? I'm not sure about that one. What about maybe if I was to take and put some of the craft paper. That's not too bad. You know, look at me here. I'm trying to find the third element. Let's see. I could always put some doily there. Possibly. That might make a nice little transition. Possibly. Well, you know, I could lay that on there and it still has the border of the painting around it. That's not too bad. In fact, it doesn't have to be this big. I can tear the sides down. And make it more interesting. Probably use my ruler. That would be thinking, wouldn't it? Okay. So, yeah, we'll set that on there. And you know, some of that doily might look pretty with this. Possibly. I don't know. We'll see. All right. Well, let me put this down. I might want to stitch around that. That might be interesting. Okay, and then I think I'm going to go with that there. Probably tear that about there. I don't need that. Save that for another day. Now, of course, if I was going to leave that unsewn, if I was going to leave the envelope open, then I would just go ahead and collage probably over that hole inside, which is definitely an option. Oh, I know what I want to do. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and bring that across like that. This is going to be another time where I'm going to glue it on and then cut it off, because I'm not real sure exactly where that'll end up, but I'm going to cover it, cross over it a little bit, but there we go. Now, that little gap that I have there, I can go one of two ways. I could bring that purple in, kind of like, ooh, kind of like that, or even up a little further perhaps. Or I could take corner of this beautiful doily. Ooh, I like that. I think that's pretty. Let's see what it looks like close up. Yeah, that's cute. Okay, that's really fun. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. All right. Get out the old Tombow again. That seemed to work pretty well for that. Okay, now the fabric is going to go like that, but I feel like I need to put something along the edge there. I guess I have to, oh, you know what, washi. Washi would work, wouldn't it? How about I'll put the thin washi along here. And it's about there, and then I'll take the thicker and add it the rest of the way. That'll be fun. Okay. And that'll be sewn on. And then, do I want to I could take and use this piece and cut it and use it somewhere else on here as well. Like maybe there. Oh, that's a good idea. Okay, so I'll just take and kind of fold it about there. I think I'll tear it though instead of cut it. Okay, so then this piece I'm going to put there. It's going to kind of almost bracket the little note area. I don't think any two of these can ever possibly come out the same. From person to person, from color and pattern to color and pattern. I think even if you were using the exact same stuff, they wouldn't come out the same. Just by the way that papers tear or the pieces you're using. I want to leave a little bit of that yellow because it's really dynamic. It brings in the rest of it. I think I could probably, it's either that or go like that. Now, I don't think it's as important that that's showing so much there, but perhaps, you know, it's one of those things, it's a judgment call. I could go like that. You know what, that's kind of cute. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to put it on the edge. Yellow sticking out at the end. Okay. And it's kind of bracketing the note, and then I'll sew that piece on. Cool. All right. Let me sew these together and then I'll be right back. All right, I'm back with the 3 that we made together. How many were you able to make? I hope you joined along. It's actually fun to craft with someone else, even if it's just by video. Please share with me what you made, and I'd love to see pictures if possible. And also, what things did you struggle with the most, and what things did you find really fun? What were challenges for you? I'd love to hear all about it. Now, this was the first one we started with, and it was the blue, and I went ahead and I sewed. First I sewed on the opening of the envelope, and then I sewed around the edge, and I kind of did the wonky stitch there just for some added interest. And then the second one, as I was getting ready to sew this, something was kind of bugging me about it, and I realized what it was. We had 2, 4, 6, 8 things. So of course I had to add another thing to make it an odd number. And now it feels so much better. And then this side, I added a little bit more interest on the inside of the flap. It would have been fine to have left it like that because, you know, it's really interesting and shows what it was made out of. But I just thought it was fun to do that. So anyway, this one, because I had washi and the pattern tissue folded over the across the top, I didn't feel like I really needed to sew along there so well because that's glued down. That's not going anywhere. So I just went ahead and sewed around the edge of the whole thing. So there's that one. And then the third one. And I did a zigzag across the fabric on that one. And that one had all been covered, or that was the one that I had folded over, so that one didn't need sewing as well. So there you have it. There's the 3 that we made today. Now next will be picking out focal images and any little last minute details that we want to put on these. So be thinking about and looking through your stash and see what you want to use for focal images for yours. And join me again next time. Thank you so much. I had a lot of fun and I hope you did too. Bye.